I'm live. Hey guys, sorry about the video yesterday. If anybody tuned in for that, it was kind of lame on my part. So I apologize for such a short video and for being so distracted by trying to find parking or trying to figure out where I needed to go. And I did figure it out. It was a different place. So at any rate, so CD Gaylords or book Gaylords. Basically, I finished recently finished a Gaylord of CDs, sending in everything and figuring out what the potential profit was, which was around about $1,300, including CDs and some audiobooks. And after you deduct the $225 for the Gaylords, I was around $1,100 or so. So a little over $1,000 just for FBA. Now I'm going through that second Gaylord. Now it's already been sorted, and I've already started scanning some of them. But I went through the other book Gaylord a while back, a couple weeks ago, and I talked about how much profit was in that one Gaylord just for FBA. And if you remember, any of you that saw the video, or if you didn't, it was 19 books that I pulled out, which is not very many. Hey, Terry. And the profit was pretty low, especially after considering the $65, hi Adriel, that I spent on the Gaylord. So it was like almost $200 profit, and then you got to deduct the cost of goods or what I spent on the entire Gaylord. Of course, there were a few things I pulled out for eBay that I listed, like a Betty Crocker cookbook and that type of stuff. But basically, the profit was about $200, so it wasn't that much. So I was doing some calculations, trying to figure out what would make more sense for me right now, just doing everything by myself. Does it make more sense for me to do the CD Gaylords or the book Gaylords? Where should my focus be? Basically, by myself, I can probably do from sorting to scanning all the CDs to find the FBA stuff, and also going through the rest of the CDs to organize them and put them into the categories for eBay and any other things I will do, flea markets or whatever other sales avenues I will take, so that I have them organized, and also check to see if the CD is there, if the CD is messed up or broken, if it needs to be resurfaced, the wrong CD is there, whatever it may be. So that plus, of course, taking all the FBA stuff to my house, listing it, and shipping it out. So all of that whole process, hi Charlotte, will probably be like about a week or so. What will slow me down, what will slow me down is all the FBA duds, basically. So, which is why I want to have a good system for that, of how to get through all of that. Terry says, neither one, go back to individual picking like at the start. I could. From what I've found at thrift stores, there's less there. And now with this one guy in my area who I've seen 3 times, chances are there's going to be even less if I were to do that. But I'm still, I still like the idea of continuing to do the thrift stores. And I'm actually going to go to a book sale this Saturday, which is the one I went to 3 months ago, where I found a good amount of books. You probably remember the video I made about it. But despite there being other resellers, I found some good stuff. I agree, combining bulk with continuing to do some sourcing in thrift stores. I have not been, this was the first summer in a few years where I did not really do many I didn't do any actually garage sales or estate sales. And I haven't really tried it. Yeah. I haven't really tried it with, what do you call it? Just stopping bulk completely and just doing the individual picking. I mean, for sure, it would be basically focused almost entirely on FBA if I were to do that. And I don't know, it would be a good experiment. Maybe try like a week or two of just doing thrift stores to see how much I could actually find, because honestly, I don't find enough valuable books probably to make it worth it, just to do. I mean, it would be CDs as well. I would also be sourcing CDs, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. He says when you balance out the profit and work combo, I still think you come out ahead by focusing. Yeah, focusing on individual books. Yeah, I mean, that's partly why I'm trying. I continue to try to improve my process for the Gaylords, and why it was a big deal that I could toss a lot of those books that I can't sell, that are duds, into an empty Gaylord and have them pick them up. But the problem with that is I was doing calculations, and I don't know exactly. It's going to vary. This last Gaylord of books was only a couple $100 in profit. Some will be better for sure, just based on my experience. So even if it was like, you know, $400 or $500, which would be on the higher end. No, I understand, Terry. I'm just trying to figure out what makes more sense for me, because CDs have been really good for me. So and that's why I got into them, because I could get so many so cheap, and the fact that there's less competition than when it comes to books, because everybody can sell books, and there's still people on CDs that try to tank the price, or not try, you know, that have the price too low, and that's always going to happen. It doesn't matter what you're selling, but just having access to a lot of this media. So if I were to do, basically I would have to do about 4 Gaylords of books to equal the profit I would get from 1 Gaylord of CDs, roughly. If all of those 4 Gaylords of books were really yielding a lot of FBA books, then I would probably make more profit, especially if there was some good stuff in there. Yeah, but what do you call it? But, you know, it's 4, and it would cost, so 4 of them would cost $260 versus $225, which isn't that big of a deal. I could probably get through 4 Gaylords of books relatively quickly. I definitely couldn't do it as fast as I could do it with a Gaylord of CDs in terms of the sorting process, unless I'm really ruthless about it and I'm not keeping any of the fiction or any of the kids, or I could be tossing them into Gaylords themselves. Then that would speed it up a lot. Either or of those, if I was going through it really quickly and basically just scanning the stuff that I feel has potential for FBA, then I could probably get through the Gaylords a lot quicker. The other issue is it's harder to physically deal with Gaylords of books, because the books are so heavy that with the CDs, once I get down to a certain level at the bottom, I can just pull them over. Assuming I have the space, I can pull them over and dump them on to the ground, and some of them fall out of the bottom, whatever. So I can just grab them. But with the books, you can't really do that because they're just too heavy. So I don't like the idea of jumping into the Gaylord. I know some people do that don't have Gaylord dumpers like me. I prefer to try to lean in. Sometimes the boxes will kind of fold over, and you can kind of lean in and reach almost to the bottom. But still, that's not really that fast of a way to do it versus dumping them out or having some way of grabbing them, the ones closer to the bottom, in a quicker manner. But basically, yeah, to get through 4 Gaylords of books, I can't really say how long it would take me in terms of the sorting process. But within a week, if I were to just focus on that and then just keep piling up all the FBA books and bringing them home and slowly listing them, maybe I could do it in a week. But my guess would be no. I'd have to get really quick at it. But yeah, it looks like a little bit more money to buy the 4 Gaylords of books to make as much profit as 1 Gaylord of CDs. And the other thing is I can make money off of most of the CDs that are left over, either through eBay or, you know, whatever other. I'm thinking about a particular flea market and trying it out, possibly trying it out in October. We'll see, October, November, maybe, as an alternative to eBay or as a way to try to move more stuff quicker at a place where I could potentially charge more than $1 for a CD. And have them organized, which is what I've been doing as I've been going through them and scanning and everything. So yeah, basically, I really like CDs because they were pretty inexpensive. I can get a lot of them in a Gaylord, and they're really small. The pain in the butt is, of course, replacing the cases and then having to deal with resurfacing the CDs and that type of stuff. Where with a book, there's nothing to replace. You might want to put some tape on something here or there, but or clean something off or wipe it down or use Goo Gone on something. But aside from that, it's either intact or not. You know, I'm not going to fix a spine or whatever. I know some people do that, but it's basically the book's either good or not, in good enough condition to sell on Amazon or not. And then, you know, you just do the shipments and list and ship. Whereas with a CD, you got to deal with the cracks and replacing the cases and all that. But even though that is a little more work, considering the size and the weight of the CDs, not just shipping them in, but also when they sell, you make a little bit more money because it's such a small item, one disc in, you know, one case being shipped out by Amazon versus a larger, heavier book. Of course, you know, if you're talking about like a $10 CD, $9.99 CD, I can't remember exactly how much I make off of one. I think it was close to $4. Might be wrong. But, you know, a $9.99 book depends on, again, the size and everything. But basically, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I liked, one of the other reasons why I like CDs. So thrift malls. I don't know what a thrift mall is. Charlotte says, do you have thrift malls that rent booth space? I sell some CDs in my booth. Is it like an antique mall? We have that. And the guy, I'd have to call again and see if they had space, but the guy said they did not have space and he would put me on the list. So that was another alternative. There's eBay, number one, and then there's finding an outlet to sell these CDs and books, be it some sort of antique mall, booth space, be it a flea market, be it a trade show. Well, it wouldn't be for CDs, but mostly it would be like an antique booth or a antique mall or a flea market. Those would be the options, but I'd be willing to try out. Okay. Well, the one that I'm thinking of, I think the items have to be, majority of them, I think like either 80 or 90% have to be at least from 2000 or older. And then you can have a certain percentage, 10 or 20%, I can't remember which, that are newer, that's newer stuff, which is why I like that place. And the rent was pretty cheap. I think they were going to charge $125 a month. They're open 7 days a week. And then they get a percentage as well. But we'll see. I don't know if there's space there. But if that doesn't work out, then, I mean, eventually they'll have space. So eventually I could probably get one, get a booth. But so the dilemma becomes with books, with the Gaylords of books and the bulk, I can just toss a lot of them. Don't have to worry about it. They can get recycled, whatever. With the CDs, though, I can still, you know, there's still money to be made off of them. So I can't just, I mean, it doesn't make sense unless I'm okay with just, there's also good stuff in there for eBay, individual stuff for eBay. Yeah. $50 a month with no commission. Wow. Yeah, location. But we'll see. So yeah, I think that I mean, I'm trying out all these avenues. That's why I tried the swap meet. It didn't go well, that particular one, but I'm going to try a flea market, which is supposed to be a little bit nicer, potentially can charge more money. I know of one in, excuse me, in Pasadena that's pretty big. It's only once a month, so people have to wait around for it. Excuse me. And the holidays are coming up. So, you know, people, I think after September 1st, a lot of people start thinking about the holidays in general. I mean, there's already Halloween stuff everywhere. So that gets in people's minds. And then I really think after October 1st, though, is when people really start to think about, you know, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and of course, Christmas. And a lot of people do early shopping, whatever. So it's probably a good time to do a flea market. But let's see. Yeah, that was basically the gist of the video. is at this point, it seems to make more sense for me to just do the CD Gaylords. If I'm going to do bulk, I just have to have, which is what I'm working on. I talked about it in the video yesterday. I bought a couple shelving units, a couple shelves from Home Depot that I'm going to put in my unit so that I can have everything organized. So that as I get all these excess CDs, I can put them in order into their groupings, categorize them, and then when I have enough, I throw up a lot unless I figure out a flea market situation or a booth or whatever, another way to sell them. For now, it would be doing eBay lots, trying to make a little extra money out of each Gaylord beyond FBA. And there's always good stuff, individual good stuff, good CDs in there that I can sell on eBay. I find them all the time that are better to sell on eBay than they are on Amazon. Some of the more rare stuff, harder to find, collector type things. I sell those pretty consistently. And speaking of eBay, I'm wondering if there is some sort of slowdown. Is that typical right now for eBay? Because I noticed my sales have generally slowed down in the past week or so. And I don't know, my guess is it has to do with back to school, but I don't know if that's a thing. If the first week or so of September, it slows down because everyone's trying to get their kids back to school, people are going back to school, and parents are dealing with that, and they're not as focused on buying on eBay. I don't know. Okay, so it's not just me. Is that a normal thing? I mean, I've only been selling on eBay since April of last year, close to a year and a half, and I haven't really gone through all the cycles. Really, I mean, last year I did a little bit, but this year is really the one where I'm have more stuff up for sale, and I'm seeing when the good and bad times. So far, June was really slow for me, and then it picked up after July 4th. Yeah. Jason says, do you have movie trading? Okay. Do you have a movie trading company in your area? I bought buy one, get one free brown bags of CDs. No, I don't know. Is that a retail store, movie trading company? I haven't heard of it. Terry said his sales are slower too. Yeah, the back to school was great, but it's kind of fizzled out now. No, I haven't heard of it. Movie trading company. Let me see. Movie trading company. Whoops. Locations. Is it called Vintage Stock? No. Or is it literally called? Let's see. Yeah, if they're several in Dallas, Fort Worth area. Is it called Vintage Stock? Or that's not it. Oh, that's in Colorado. No, that's not it. Yeah, I don't know. There's one in, it says movie trading company, Addison, Texas, Denton. I don't know. But no, apparently there's not one. Oh, it is called Vintage Stock? Okay. Let's see. Doesn't look like they have anything in. Oh, geez. Yeah, there's nothing around here. There's nothing around here of that, like that. Cool. So did you find some good CDs, Jason? Yeah, so I don't know what we were talking about, but apparently eBay slowed down. Amazon sales. Oh, the other weird thing on Amazon is the sales aren't really showing up. Are you having that problem, Terry, where in Seller Central on, let me see if it's working now. You go to business reports, sales dashboard. Yeah, it's, oh, okay. I think it's slowly starting to show up. Finally, it's showing yesterday that I had 10 sales, which is more accurate. Yeah, it's not accurate. I called and they were not very well. The person on the phone was like, it's weird. Sometimes you get people that are helpful, sometimes you don't. But they said that they're something about they're going to be updating it, or it's going to be updating. And I was like, well, in 4 years, I've never seen this happen. So clearly, this is not something that's normal. But anyway, but at least the sales are still coming in. Yeah, it's showing 10 sales yesterday for me, which is more accurate, and only 1 today, which I know is not accurate. That's not possible. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Jason, you said, okay, so you can only sell certain titles, CD titles on Amazon, FBA or Amazon. You said you're going to sell off the restricted ones. Nightingale Conant audiobooks. Yeah, I've not done the estate sales. I used to go out on some Fridays and then Saturdays and do a lot of garage sales and estate sales. I just haven't been doing it. I've never sold the Nightingale stuff before. I found some good audiobooks in my last Gaylord of CDs. There can be some really good stuff out there. I found this one. Okay, yeah. Charlotte says she just looked at her app on her phone, Amazon app, and it gave me a message that sales are not updating. Yeah, I saw it in the, because I noticed it, when was it? Yesterday or the day before? Sorry, watching the comments. Yeah, anyway, I noticed it a couple of days ago, and then in the Facebook groups, the FBA groups, people were commenting on it, or there was one thread in particular, and people were all saying it wasn't working properly. So I guess it's still an issue, and they're still working on it. But as long as our sales are still going through and we're getting our money. No. Yeah, Charlotte, you probably did have sales today. I mean, I don't know for sure, but chances are if you're used to getting a certain amount a day, then yeah, it's not accurate. It says I have 1 sale today at 6:10 p.m. It's not. I mean, rarely do I go right now with my inventory. And the thing is I have like over 200 items that are going to hit the warehouses soon. Maybe some of them already hit today. I should have a rush of sales because of all the new stuff. There's always stuff that sells immediately within like the same day that it hits, a few hours, sometimes the next day or two. That first week or so, there's a rush of sales. Yeah, you can check pending. You can just go. Yeah. You should be able to see what your actual sales are. Let's see. Evil Wizard said, I imagine Gaylords of CDs probably smell a bit better than a pile of old books. Well, not all the books are old, but generally in terms of smell, yeah, for sure. I would say that the Gaylord of CDs is usually better. But yeah, at least 1 sale per day, more most days. Yeah, I usually get close to 10 a day on average. I mean, I might go down, like a bad day for me is in terms of amount of sales for a day is about 5. I rarely ever go below 5 at this point. As long as I keep feeding feeding Amazon. I usually get it anywhere from 5 to 10 on average, just average times versus, you know, Prime Day or back to school or holidays or something like that. Terry asked if I've started using a repricer yet. No, I haven't. I've been manually repricing. And speaking of that, it is September 6th. And so if I'm correct, on 7, 8, 9 days, we're going to get hit with another long-term storage fee. How many do I have? So 1 second, Charlotte. So yeah, if you don't have an automatic repricer, then definitely should be repricing, because that's going to come real quick monthly, which is madness. Still can't believe it. How many do I have in my inventory? Let's see. Oh, it looks like a bunch of stuff got delivered, got checked in today. So far, 1, 2, 3, 4. I still have 4 shipments that have not been delivered. 41 items, 57, 5, and 5. So that's still over 100, but a bunch just checked in. That's good. Let's see. My inventory, so my inventory level should be higher now. So as of right now, Charlotte, I have 800. Wait, what's going on? 890 products on. Yeah, 890 FBA products. I've got I probably have to clean out some of these merchant fulfilled because they're just not selling. Let's see, merchant, I have 201. I just had a couple sales this past weekend of merchant fulfilled, but that was after a couple weeks of nothing, of no sales. And I've repriced a few times. Yeah, so 890 right now. I have another over 100 or so. So I'll be right around 1,000 once all of those get checked in. So I try to keep it close to 1,000. I mean, that's not that big a deal, but I tend to be right around there lately anyway, because my sell-through rate has been pretty good. Actually, let me look at that. No. So for August, I'm trying to look here. August 1st, August 31st. Okay, so for August, I had, let me see, June. How many did I do in June? Sorry, guys, I'm just looking this up. So or July. So for July, I had 400. Oh, okay. I had 400 sales in July. And then in August, I actually had less. And I think that has to do with me not sending in as much as I was. So August. So 400 sales in July. I think I had 300 sales in June. And then in August, I had 345 sales. Dane, my average sale price for August was $11.61. So again, that's lower because of lower price CDs that I send in that sell really quickly. So it brings my average sale price down. Let's see. So of that 345 sales, 232 were CDs, which was 67%. And there was 111 books I sold, 32%. And then I sold 1 video game and everything else. I don't know what that was. Yeah, I don't know what that was. So compared to last year I did 358 sales in August. So I was just barely under it. I did not really prepare for this year's back to school for August. I haven't really been doing that. how often am I able to get through manually repricing? So to be honest, I don't reprice that often. I've started to reprice more often because of the now monthly long-term storage fees. So I'll reprice the stuff that's might get hit. Like I did that like a week or so ago. I usually have a pretty good sell-through rate, so I let things that I've sent in try to sell off at the price that I sent it in at, which may or may not be a good idea. But that's what I've been doing because I've been selling pretty well. I mean, 345 sales in the month of August, and right now I have 890 items. Some of those just hit. So for, you figure for August, I don't know, 700. Yeah, I had about 1,000. So I probably had around 1,000 for August when I started the month. It's tough to say. So my sell-through rate was probably pretty good, probably over 25, 30%. So I don't reprice that often. I try to let it sell at the prices I send it in at. It doesn't always, of course, things change all the time, but I've had I've had it's been going well in terms of my sell-through rate. It's gone up. So my percentage, as long as I'm above 20%, I mean, I'd like to be above 30% consistently. And I think for August, for June, for July with 400 sales, I was probably over 30% for my monthly sell-through rate. And for August, it's tough to say exactly. So as of right now, I have the very beginning of September, but I have 890. The thing is, if I sell 300 sales for the month, which is roughly 10 a day, 300, depending on how many days of the month, and I have around 1,000, I mean, that's about a 30% sell-through rate, give or take. So I'm pretty happy about that. It goes down in terms of as the inventory ages, some will just take longer to sell. If something that hits 1 month, or I should say, when items hit and then you start the calendar the next 30 days, whatever day of the month it is, the ones that don't sell within those 30 days, I mean, some of those are just going to take a little bit longer. Either it's just a longer tail item or the price has changed a lot. More sellers got on there, FBA sellers, and maybe they undercut me, that's why I hate repricing manually because I go in there and I see these people that have just gone underneath me. And there's a couple, I can't think of their names right now, but there's a couple of accounts. I don't know if it's any of you guys, but that tend to just undercut me, and they have a better. So I'll have a good CD for like $9.99, and then they'll say very good, and they'll put like $9.50 or $9 or whatever, and it just, a lot of times it doesn't make sense to me, the type of CD. Like, there's no need to do that. But anyway. Yes, Terry. Amen. And so it drives me insane to see that. So anyway, so that's some of the reasons, right? So if there's an item, like 100 items hit one day, the warehouse, the shipments arrive, and the next 30 days, 30 of those will sell, let's say 25, 30, 35, I don't know. And then, so there's 70 left roughly. And then the next month, probably less of those will sell, maybe another 10%, 20%. I don't know. It's going to vary. But even without repricing, within 6 months, hopefully I've sold off about 70 to 80% of that on the low end, hopefully closer to like 90%. So that when I go back there and it's approaching 6 months, I should be repricing more often than every 6 months, of course, for an item. But if I don't, I shouldn't see very many of those that hit 6 months ago, 5 months ago. There should not be more than, hopefully, out of 100 items, hopefully not many more than 20 to 30. I mean, even if it's like 75% that sell within 6 months, that's good, considering what I've gotten them for and all that. And then repricing, and I'll sell off some of them as I reprice. And then I'll have to assess to make sure that to see which ones are worth keeping around to get hit with that first month of of a long-term storage fee. The monthly storage fee is not that high. Of course, it increases at the end of the year. But anyway. Cool. I got a good sale on eBay. Sorry, guys. I just noticed that. $37.99 sale on eBay of the software. I found a bunch of these random softwares. GE software. I don't even know what it is. Intelligent platforms, but $37.99. That was nice. Anyway, so Dane was saying, sorry, I got to go back here. Dane says, I love flipping books that sell fast for small profit. Most resellers skip those $2 to $3 profit books. Plus, it helps your, right, the IPI. Yeah. And then Terry said, I'd rather flip the $50 ones. Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd rather have only $50 books and CDs in my inventory. But if I did that, my inventory would be really small, like really tiny, like less than 100 probably. And then I wouldn't send in all the stuff that I would make, you know, $2, $3, and $5 off of. For me, it wouldn't work. I mean, if you have access to really high-priced items and you find enough of them, you know, it all depends on your situation, right? But yeah, for sure, I love to have a mix. I'd love to have only $75 books or CDs in there, but I don't find enough for me to just do that. Even if I did, I would still send in the other stuff. Yeah. So, oh, I was gonna talk. I found this CD, and it's still sealed. And it's when did I find this? Oh yeah, I found this in the latest Gaylord World. I threw it in. So I made a pile of. I put all the PC games and all the video games, whether they're PC or PS1 or whatever, Xbox. I put them to the side in a different pile, and I thought this one was a video game, World of Warcraft, but I found that it says soundtrack on it. It turns out to be a soundtrack. So Wrath of the, I don't know if that's Lich. I guess that's Lich King. So Fall of the Lich King soundtrack. It turns out there's only like 2 or 3 on Amazon, and they're going for like $200. No. So anyway, this is the kind of stuff. Now, is it going to sell for $200? It might. As of right now, there are 3 available. No FBA. There's a new one, merchant fulfilled, for $199.98 plus shipping. It has sold. This one I'm talking about. I looked it up, and it has sold. For anyone that's interested, in the last year, it sold once for $199. Now, is it going to actually sell for that amount again? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, World of Warcraft. So it did sell for $200. Now, I might end up just pricing a little lower just to see if I can sell it. I could list it merchant fulfilled. We'll see. But I feel like it's worth it to send it in FBA, even if it took a year to sell, and I could sell it even for $100. I mean, it's worth it, right? Charlotte says, I had no idea that you had to be approved to sell toys. Yeah, in Q4, I got an email telling me I was approved. Good job. Awesome. I've sent in a few toys, but not that many. Jason says his model has been quick flip groceries along with longer tail books and media. Oh, okay, groceries. Yeah, I got ungated in groceries as well, but I just couldn't. I feel like for me anyway, I have to want to sell something. It has to be something that I'm interested in, that makes sense to me, that I can imagine doing over and over again. And I love books and I love CDs and well, VHS tapes. I love movies. I love music. I love books. So for me, that has worked out really well. I love the idea of groceries because it's replenishable, and I know that's why a lot of people do it. That's probably why you do it, Jason, is because it's things that people, they need to buy. And so if you need your peanut butter and your toilet paper and your chips and whatever it is, your instant coffee, you know, all that stuff. I mean, for sure, people are going to be buying it every day, every week, all year long. There's no, you know, it doesn't sell better in holidays or whatever. Yeah, yeah, new in the box. Okay. So yeah, for sure. I highly recommend, I mean, I recommend, it doesn't work for everybody, that, yeah, you don't want to send it in a used toilet paper. That that whatever you sell is something that you like. Now, some people will say, yeah, well, I just want to make money, and so I want to sell what makes money. And that's fine. Go ahead. Go for it. If that works for you. For me, it doesn't really work. If I were to, you know, I could focus on like old electronics that sell for hundreds of dollars, or all types of different things that sell for a lot of money. But I just don't, or toys or whatever. There's all different types of categories, whether it's FBA, whether it's eBay. Excuse me. I could do that, but I like selling what I sell currently as a reseller. So. How do you know if you can sell toys in Q4? Good question. Does anyone know the answer to that? I remember getting an email last year. I thought it was that you had to sell a certain amount in a certain period of time, and then they would let you sell in Q4, but I could be wrong. I don't know if they've changed that. I know they've gotten really strict about toys because people go crazy with the toys. Yeah, that's what I thought. Terry said it's you'll get an email. It's based on what you've got. Oh, that's for merchant fulfilled. Okay, it's based on what you've done through the year. Okay, I haven't really paid much attention to it because I just don't do toys. But if you want to, I mean, I would recommend just calling Amazon and see what they say. But if you haven't got an email yet, and some other people are getting the email, maybe yours will be coming soon. I don't know. Did they put anything? Oh, so Amazon has a notification. The processing of sales and traffic data has been delayed, and we are working to resolve the issue. The results shown in the, whoops, where'd it go? In the sales summary widget and on business reports are not accurate at this time. Actual sales are not affected. So there we go. That's true. You can follow Jason's advice and try to get auto approved. Do you guys remember where in Seller Central you can find out what you're approved for? What you're ungated for? Do you guys remember how to find that? There's some page where it shows every category that you can sell in and certain brands. Do you guys remember how to do that? Anybody here? Anybody? I don't know what page that was called. Ungated category. Oh. Do you guys remember that? No? Oh, well. Add a product page. Let's try that out. Add a product. Create a new product to manage your selling applications. Is that what that is? Ha! Here we go. Cool. Thank you, Uncle Stinky. Yeah, me too. I was looking over here. So if you guys go to selling applications is what it's called, and it's on the list or add a product page. There's a link below the search box that says to manage your selling applications. So yeah, I was approved in a lot of these. This happened like where is this? 2016, 2017. Like Nicorette Health and Personal Care, topicals. Sports nutrition, and then there's a bunch of brands like Puma, Louis Vuitton, Pioneer, Converse, Rosetta Stone, New Balance. So anyway, oh, music. Yeah, the music was back then. Tony, where did you just get the info? That's on Seller Central homepage. It's the very top. It says under notifications widget. These little boxes are widgets, apparently. Yeah, because they're working on it, though. They'll get around to it. But it says the sales are being, what does it say? Whoops. Actual sales are not affected. So that's good. Yeah. I guess that's it, guys. We're about 45 minutes in. I talked about Gaylords versus CD Gaylords versus book Gaylords. As of now, it looks like CD Gaylords make more sense for me. Unless I can get book Gaylords for less than $65, which would probably be only if I were to order more. Like, I don't know what that point would be. I'd have to talk to my source. The other thing about it, oh, sure, Dane. The other thing about it is, yeah, I already talked about it. The CD is just way less. And that's the thing with the books is with the split shipments. You know, I did 100. What was it? I can't remember how many items it was. If it was 100 or 150, but it was split 6 different ways. And you know, with the books, it just everything weighs more, takes up more space, and those split shipments are killing me. So it's really nice with the CDs, even if I get. So I did 100. How many did I do? 175 CDs, and I only got 4 splits, which wasn't bad with the CDs. You know, they go into much smaller boxes. Even if it's going across the country, it doesn't cost that much versus 50 CDs versus, you know, 30, 40 books. It's a much different. Of course, unless you're selling the books for a ton of money, then it doesn't matter, right? So it's a moot point. But and if I, you know, when I find really high value books, then I don't care if it's going to cost, you know, a couple bucks to send in that book if I'm going to sell it for $50, you know. So I understand that, but in general, it's nice to send in smaller stuff. Yeah. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. I'll make another video. Let's see what's tomorrow, Friday, and I'm going to a book sale on Saturday, so I'll probably be talking about that next week. Hopefully that goes well. It went well last time. I think I got a good amount of books. I got like 50 or something books and a bunch of CDs. So hopefully that'll go well. It's nice. Thank you. Good night, Charlotte. It's nice to mix in the sourcing with the bulk stuff. All right, guys, we will, I'll see you tomorrow. And as always, keep booking. And if you're not subscribed, I think all of you are subscribed, but anybody watching this that's not watching it live, please do subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. Good night.